Baseball Classic. You play for your country. Welcome to Miami, a city with international flavor that bears a decidedly Caribbean accent. A perfect backdrop for 4 countries competing round-robin style over the next 4 nights for the right to move on in the World Baseball Classic. And welcome to this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. Tonight, Pool C opens with the upstart team from Canada facing the powerhouse, the defending WBC champs from the Dominican Republic. With pool play underway all around the world, today Pool C starts in Miami, the only pool round played domestically in the United States. 4 teams vying for the chance to move on and play in San Diego next week. We'll see the United States team and Colombia later in this bracket. Tonight, it's the Dominican Republic and Canada. With that, we welcome you inside with John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian. Here we are 4 years later. John, it's exciting. Pool C begins with a lot of star power tonight.
It really does. And you're talking about a contrast of 2 countries, Canada and Dominican Republic. Of course, Dominican Republic has all the star power. They won it last time they competed. Canada trying to get out of that first round, gritty, and they've really followed their manager, Ernie Witt, and trying to find a way to get out of that first round.
Canada, a decided underdog against the heavy firepower of the Dominican Republic team. The pitching matchup tonight really personifies that. Carlos Martinez is only a year removed from his All-Star season of 2015. He gets the ball for Tony Pena and the defending champs. And Ryan Dempster, Smoltzy, who last pitched in the big leagues in 2013, will try to push that setting sun back up into the sky once again.
Yeah, what a story. He's started, he's closed, he's pitched in the World Series, and he's trying to rekindle his younger days. He's been out of baseball for a while. Look at the difference between innings pitched career-wise. You've got a veteran on the mound trying to put his team in the best situation he can with a youngster at his first time dealing with this atmosphere. It's not just spring training anymore.
Big difference in the lineups, too. There are only 3 players for Canada that played Major League Baseball last year. On the other hand, the team from the Dominican Republic is not only loaded with household names, superstar players.
Well, they have everything, and the pressure is on them. But they relaxed last time they were in here. Something clicked for them. They were disappointed with their past experience of not getting to the finals and winning it. And then what did they do? They went 8-0. And they have guys can't wait to get here. This is one team that does not think this is spring training. They believe this is their biggest moment. They have a lot of pride, and you see all the hardware that this team has put together. They are the heavy favorites.
15 All-Stars on the Dominican Republic roster. Heavy favorites indeed with a lot of firepower. Look, the Canadian team has some firepower of their own. They're proud to call Justin Morneau one of their own. And Freddie Freeman decided to play for the Canadians in this WBC. When we come back from a break, our JP Morosi visits with Canada's newest hero, his decision to play for Team Canada, and more with Freddie Freeman next.
We are here with Freddie Freeman here of Baseball Canada. And Freddie, of course, you're here to honor your late mother, Rosemary, represent Canada. How emotional was O Canada for you here tonight?
It's a special day, very emotional. You know, I didn't know what I was going to feel when the Canadian national anthem played, but you know, I got butterflies in my stomach, and right when that ended, I looked up to her and said thank you.
Freddie, your first time representing Canada, only a few days here with your new teammates. What have you learned about them that tells you you got a chance here in this big game tonight?
We got grit on this team. They want to go out there and play. We're the underdogs, and we know it, but you know, that's the beauty of baseball. You got to play 9 innings, and we're going to be doing that right tonight.
Freddie, have fun tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Matt, back to you.
JP, thanks. And Freddie's dad is here. Both of his parents born in Canada. And Freddie, as you heard him tell JP, very proud to represent his parents' home country. And really, if Canada's going to go anywhere in this tournament, and they are heavy underdogs here in Pool C, they're going to need guys like Freddie Freeman to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, and some guys on the bases, right? I mean, this is not a team that's got a lot of Major League experience. And there's a lot of guys on both teams really looking forward to seeing how they can help their team win. When spring training comes, Matt, you know it's spring training. Your mind is all about getting your reps, doing your thing. When this comes, it's different. and you got to be ready for the moment. We'll see which teams are ready as early as possible.
A tall order for Ernie Witt's Team Canada lineup tonight. They're good 1 through 4 for sure, because there are household commodities there. Dalton Pompey, former MVP Justin Morneau, top Seattle prospect Tyler O'Neill, and the aforementioned Freddie Freeman. And if they can get contributions 5 through 9 with a lot of players who've had some major league experience, but most of their time coming in the farm, they'll be okay over the next few days. Kind of a wait and see for a young Canadian lineup keyed by a couple of veterans. That's how Ernie Witt attacks Carlos Martinez to open Pool C. The 25-year-old former All-Star, his All-Star season in 2015, followed up by a very good 2016 season in which he won 16 games. And it's Martinez who opens the WBC for Team Dominican Republic tonight.
Well, Martinez, you can see the numbers. He has compiled the last 2 years of what St. Louis hopes will be just an ace down the road, because this guy's got everything. Fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. And I'll tell you, for a young player to be as poised as he is, we're going to find out how this environment, unlike spring training like we talked about, will treat the young star. Carlos Martinez, I think it's going to be very, very important to watch your RPMs, meaning don't rev it up too early, too quickly, and find a way to pound the strike zone, because that's going to be the key to beating anybody. But then pass on the baton to this loaded bullpen. Give them the lead, and then watch that lead be preserved by the 4 closers and dynamic arms that the Dominican Republic can throw at you.
Yeah, that bullpen is amazing. In fact, every phase of the roster brings complete resumes and big-time big league credentials, not to mention, John, playing here in Miami. I mean, this is as close to a home game as you could get for Team Dominican Republic. The cheering and the noise made by a very partisan crowd when starting lineups were introduced rather. It tells you everything you need to know about this crowd tonight. They're loud, they're animated, they're here wearing their colors, and they expect this team from the Dominican Republic, arguably even better than the one they won it with in 2013, to go very far in this tournament. So it is a Davy and Goliath theme to start Pool C tonight in Miami. Dalton Pompey ready to start things for Team Canada. Pompey, Morneau, and O'Neill. Team Canada has never gone beyond pool round in their 3 previous runnings in the World Baseball Classic. And Ernie Witt, who has been at the helm for many of Team Canada's international competitions, ready to spar with Tony Pena in the home dugout. We're underway.
You know, last time we did this, Matt, Italy had a chance to knock off the Dominican Republic, and I would think Canada, if it has a chance, create pressure as long as possible. Meaning stay in it as long as possible, create pressure for the team that's supposed to win, because this bunch of team, led by Ernie Witt, they don't care. They know they're not supposed to win, so they don't care about anybody other than just grit, as you hear the word grit by a lot of players used in their locker room.
Quickly, a ball and 2 strikes on Dalton Pompey. Well, we had a chance to visit with some of the personalities and some of the players for Team Canada today. They don't feel overmatched by any stretch. They know the kind of backs of baseball cards they're up against. A swing and a miss by Pompey, and there's one gone.
Martinez can throw it upwards of 97, 98 with a 4-seamer. You saw a 2-seamer there that moves. And I'm always intrigued by the young pitchers in spring training trying to get their mechanical connectivity, if you will. He's got a great changeup and slider combination. You're going to see that actually is the changeup at 91. So I stand corrected real early. You can already see he's juiced up.
Here is former American League MVP and former National League batting champ Justin Morneau, who in preparing for the World Baseball Classic last week saw really what amounted to his first live pitching in quite a while. And as his manager Ernie Witt told us before the game, just to try to get Justin up to speed as quickly as possible, they decided to bat him second in this first round. Puts it in play onto the left side. That's Manny Machado in a shift to first in time to get him.
may see a lot of those swings out of the Team Canada with 2 strikes. They're going to try everything they can to put it in play. Machado, one of the best arms in the game, coming a long way to make that throw, and Santana helping him out with a scoop. That's a defensive swing, but he had to find a way to put it in play.
So now the left fielder Tyler O'Neill, 21-year-old Seattle Mariner prospect, one of the top prospects in the Mariners chain. I mean, you'd have a hard time, John, looking at Carlos Martinez and telling anybody that it's early March, right? A changeup to strike out Dalton Pompey. He's already thrown 2 pitches over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that would be, if I'm watching down the road as a Cardinal executive, that's the only thing I want to make sure you don't get too carried away and revved up. But he looks smooth, and he's pounding the strikes early on. There's the numbers on Carlos Martinez.
Already 4 swings and misses. That's sent out to right field, well hit. Cruz is back on the track, measuring for the wall to retire the side. Team Canada retired in order as Carlos Martinez looks in mid-season form early in Pool C. The Dominican Republic coming to bat. Where here's the Dominican lineup that Team Canada's up against, and just to do a little quick math, 28 combined all-star appearances. Reyes, Machado, and Cano, Bautista, Santana, and Cruz, Beltre and Polanco, Wellington, Castillo batting 9th. A real murderer's row. And a tall order for Ryan Dempster, 39-year-old veteran, and I emphasize veteran. Last pitched in the 2013 World Series, and as reported by Bob Nightingale recently, went on a family vacation last year and convinced himself that he wanted to do this. Got his arm back in shape, worked out at the Cubs camp, where he is a special advisor to General Manager Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein. And here he is, back on the mound for the first time in darn near 4 years. First pitch to Jose Reyes is in for a strike.
Well, he's got a pretty easy lineup to go against, Matt. You dream of these when you're playing, yet alone not when you've been out for 4 or 5 years.
I mean, there is nowhere to hide. Dempster still doing that funky business with the glove. He is a master of deception. He was in the midst of his career. That was something he added in the middle of his career, just to try to pull hitters off the scent of what they thought might be coming. And a swing and a miss by Jose Reyes.
Well, he's going to rely heavily on the split. That's what you saw right there. Fastball split combination. He feels that the arm speed that he still has, the split is something that he can do. The slider might be a different story. It creates more arm speed. You need tighter spin. Look for that to be a pitch to be if he's going to be effective against this team.
And Reyes slaps one foul.
See, what it does is, even though his fastball won't get up to 90 more than likely, but it makes his fastball look, and that swing right there, it makes it look faster because of the deception and speed of the split finger fastball.
Reyes, Machado, and Cano to restart Ryan Dempster's active career. And Reyes lifts one foul the other way. The numbers for Ryan Dempster in his final major league season, 8 wins and 9 losses. That was way back in 2013 with the Red Sox. He made 32 appearances. Only 3 of those were in relief. So Ryan was in the starting rotation for a world championship team just about every step of the way. Pitched in game 1 of the Fall Classic that year, and ironically, his opposite number tonight, Carlos Martinez, then a rookie, also appeared in game 1 of the 2013 World Series with the Cardinals.
Well, he's pitching in the right park. There's a lot of territory in this big, spacious ballpark, so he can use some fly balls and hope his outfielders can run him down.
Reyes has extra bases into the right field corner. Jose Reyes can still run and is into second easily with a leadoff 2-base hit.
Well, for Dempster, it's probably not the start he wanted, but he's going to have to try to do his best to keep him off balance. You see Reyes looked at 7 pitches, but here's the keys for me. Keep them guessing, right? Try to use every weapon you have. Keep them guessing. The splitter is going to be huge. And then settle the nerves early. I'm sure he's been through every moment in his life, but until he walked from that bullpen and put on that Team Canada jersey, there's some butterflies in there that he's trying to get through that first inning, hopefully without giving up a run.
Here's 3-time All-Star Manny Machado now, trying to pick up an early RBI opportunity. Runner in scoring position with nobody out in the home first. And now George Kataris, the veteran catcher, wants to come out and visit with Ryan. It's worth noting here, John, and as we know from watching the WBC, a lot of these teams have not spent a lot of time together, and Canada is among those teams. So for Ryan Dempster, who hasn't pitched in the big league since 2013, he is not familiar with all of his teammates on a very personal level. In fact, just got to know a lot of these guys within the last few days. Machado with a line shot out to left that'll carry for Tyler O'Neill, and there is one away.
Dempster will take any kind of loud out, any kind of action, as long as it's to one of his teammates. He doesn't have the velocity that he once did to have the separation between his fastball and split. So look for this incredibly talented Dominican Republic team to look in one area over the plate. Because they don't have to respect the fastball velocity, they're so talented they can go anywhere in the ballpark.
Here's Robinson Cano now, and a chant of MVP breaking out here at Marlins Park. He was the most valuable player from the 2013 WBC. I'm not sure how much stock you put in this, John. Curious your thoughts, because, you know, since Ryan Dempster hasn't pitched in an awful long time, do head-to-head numbers mean anything to you here? Because Robinson Cano has faced Dempster quite a bit.
I wouldn't think so, but as a pitcher, you know if a guy's had your number or not. You may not know if he hit 300 or 350, but you'll know if he had significant damage and success. But at this point, he's just glad. I guarantee you Dempster's glad he got 1 out. Now he's trying to get 2 more, because it has been such a long time for competitive juices to be back in a game.
See the number there, 4 for 11. In fact, Cano has reached base in 8 of his 15 plate appearances against Dempster, so the base on ball is a part of that. And here is Cano in front, 2-0. 307 lifetime hitter. That ranks him 8th among active major league players. And there's nowhere to hide next. Jose Bautista, 6-time All-Star on deck.
I would think if this team plays the amount of games that they feel they should, and that's getting to a championship, they'll lead everybody in walks. This lineup produces the opposing pitcher to, when the count's not in their favor, you go to the next guy. They've already walked a lot of times in 2 exhibition games.
Yeah.
They're going to walk a lot in this series because they're loaded. As you mentioned, there's not a lot of places to go to.
Yeah, 12 walks in the 2 tune-up games that Team Dominican Republic played against Grapefruit League squads here during spring training. 3-0 from Dempster. And there's ball 4. It just looked like Ryan didn't want to have anything to do with Cano there. So now Jose Bautista, who endured one of the more curious off seasons, this winter league season that is, had some very high profile, high dollar demands from the Toronto Blue Jays if he were to return there with a contract that expired after 2016. Those were not met. He shopped himself on the free agent market, only to return to Toronto.
Be careful on this first pitch if I was Ryan.
Ball ball and no strikes. 5 straight misses by Dempster, and it's 1-0 to Bautista. 1 year, $18.5 million, with some option language that could keep Bautista up at Rogers Center through 2019. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
You can see the slider speed right there. He tried to go to the slider. As you would think, when you've been out for a while, that ball just kind of spun over the middle. Surprised he hasn't gone to his split after missing with some fastballs. Again, 2-0 count here. You can't give in. You don't always think about a pitcher when he's on the mound saying, I got a base open when it's first and second, but technically do.
And then you got a switch hitter, Carlos Santana, to deal with next. There's a fastball in for a strike.
I'm just impressed how free and easy it seems for him. You know, his nerves and all the things that are going through his head, but he seems free and easy, and kind of jealous that he can still be throwing at this age.
He's still in great shape. I mean, I say still, he's only 39 years old, but as we well know in baseball years, that puts you in, dinosaur territory. And let's not forget that when Ryan chose to walk away from baseball, he still had years of service left on his Red Sox contract. He decided that it was time to walk away after 2013. Terrific 16-year career. 2-2 to Jose Bautista. We mentioned how Ryan was getting to know some of his teammates for the first time this week. That's true of his manager as well. He and Ernie Witt had known of each other, of course, for a long time. Didn't have a chance to shake hands and say hello personally until Ryan joined the team this week. And Bautista went around. There are 2 away in the home first.
And there's the split after establishing the low fastball. Dempster threw him a couple cutters. Cutter's an easier pitch to throw rather than the slider, even though it doesn't have great movement. You see the split grip, comes out, acts like a fastball, and then tumbles down away. Bautista could not hold up.
So Dempster trying to circumnavigate this sticky spot early with 2 out and still 2 away. It'll be the switch hitting Carlos Santana. Not much of an offseason for Carlos Santana, given the long run the Indians made into Game 7 of the World Series in the fall. And Santana takes a strike. Carlos Santana, a returnee to Team Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. He was the starting catcher back in 2013 when his team won it all.
Listen.
Of course, it's been a while since Carlos has been a full-time catcher. You got to go back to 2012 with the Indians to find the last time he strapped on the tools and sat behind home plate. A ball and a strike. So since we've already kind of documented, John, how patient the Dominican lineup is, they have perhaps their most patient hitter here, with a chance to maybe get Nelson Cruz up this inning, and the base is loaded. Only Joey Votto has walked more than Carlos Santana in Major League Baseball since 2011.
All things being considered, each player comes to spring training with different goals and mindsets, and not every player gets their timing right away. And that's what this tournament kind of forces guys to think ahead, get ready early, get more swings. unlike Dempster, unless you're on a family trip and you decide you're going to come back and throw, most guys are preparing for this, and it doesn't always, you don't always come out of the gate locked in.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, if nothing else, it would be a huge emotional win for Ryan Dempster just to fade this early jam. Leadoff double, and then you're staring down the teeth of this lineup. And if Dempster can somehow hold the Dominican Republic at a 0 here, he's going to feel like he just conquered Everest. Reyes and Cano aboard with 2 gone, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Santana.
Or another example would be trying to get 3 outs in Coors Field because they're both difficult feats, and you're in a pressure situation when you haven't had the reps that Dempster's had. He's just trying right now in his mind to think of ways, how do I get this guy out? What do I do in this situation? And to your point, you know, already racking up about 22 pitches. Would love to put up a 0, inducing a split, grounder, or swing and miss.
The 2-2. Santana with a drive out to center field. Pompey is there to glide under it and make the catch, and indeed, Ryan Dempster strands a pair in the bottom of the first. On to the second in Miami. Still scoreless. This World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And sponsored in part by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Go get rewarded now at bestwestern.com. And by the all-new Alfa Romeo Giulia. Scoreless after an inning as Pool C opens tonight. Welcome back with John Smoltz, John Palmarosi, Matt Vasgersian, and Freddie Freeman leading things off in the Canadian part of inning number 2. Freeman, Wood, and Tassoni against Carlos Martinez, who worked quickly, efficiently, and impressively in retiring the Canadians in order in the first. Freeman with a shot and a great play off third by Manny Machado. And why not? One of the best in the business, folks.
He truly is. He is a gifted young man. Once a shortstop, now a third baseman. Playing Freddie Freeman closer to the shortstop side, and you see his reaction time. That ball was hit on the barrel. Machado.
It's Freddie's father who tipped his cap after a well-struck line out. 1 gone now for Eric Wood. I think we've really gotten spoiled, John, watching the likes of Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado, by the way, is playing third base for Team USA. We watch plays like that on highlight reels. We watch it on MLB Tonight every night, and we just get used to it.
He's got a cannon too. It's not only his footwork and his glove hand, but I'm pretty sure he could hit 95 on the mound easy.
2 Gold Gloves. Last year led all third basemen in all of baseball in fielding percentage. A ball and 2 strikes to Eric Wood. Another chance from Machado. This one at the routine variety. And there are 2 away.
Defensively, we talked about all the offensive skills and hardware. Defensively, this team has some decisions. Tony Pena and who to play in the outfield. But for tonight, Bautista Polanco in center, Cruz in right. You see the infield. We already talked about Machado, Reyes, Cano, and Santana at first. Castillo behind the plate. There'll be some changes in the outfield. Tony will make sure everybody gets to play, because his hardest task will be the reps of his players.
2 gone, base is empty now for Rene Tassoni. Yeah, how deep is the Dominican Republic roster? It's so deep that a 5-time Gold Glover Adrian Beltre is DHing tonight. And there's a base hit. First of the night for Team Canada. talking about Manny Machado, and that's a player that made a decision to play for Team Dominican Republic quite a while back, despite the fact that he was born in Miami. And JP, I want to bring you in on this. His background could have brought him to one of a couple of World Baseball Classic teams.
Well, that's right, Matt. He actually went to high school just 4 miles away from here at Brito, Miami private school. And he actually told Moises Alou, the Dominican GM, back at the All-Star game last July, he wanted to play for the Dominican Republic. His mother, he said, Rosa Nunez, has been so touched by this. She said to him earlier this week, I feel like crying every day. I'm so emotional because you're doing this for me.
Ball and no strikes, the count to the catcher, George Kataris. Yeah, we understand, JP, that Moises Alou was rather influential when he decided to wear his World Baseball Classic Championship ring at the All-Star game this year, as opposed to another one he could have chosen.
Right, Matt. Actually, Moises Alou on Monday, he in fact was wearing his Dominican Championship ring from the 2013 WBC. He said that ring means even more to him than winning the World Series here 20 years ago in Miami, because he said it was for the entire country.
There's a bouncer back up the middle and a base hit. Tassoni takes the cut and gets into third base, and the Canadians have something cooking here in the second with runners at the corners and 2 away.
I actually like what Carlos has done in this inning. He's smoother. He's not revving it up like he did in the first. He set the tone, and then he kind of bit a little bit of cruise control, which is good. I would look for him now to go a little bit back towards that firmer fastball and changeup, now that he's got runners in scoring, a runner in scoring position.
Well, here's one of the great stories on the Canadian roster, John, and a former teammate of yours, Pete Orr, who has been a part of Team Canada World Play for a long time. He was a part of their 2004 Olympic team in Athens. He last appeared in a big league game in 2013, just like Ryan Dempster. The difference is the next chapter of Pete Orr's baseball life is already underway. He's already a professional scout. Got a chance to drive in the game's first run. A bouncer to second. And we will stay scoreless as this one heads to the bottom of the second. Couple of hits, 2 runners left aboard to the home half of inning number 2. Canada and the Dominican Republic scoreless. Welcome back to this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. In the early stages of a scoreless draw, as Ryan Dempster was able to survive a double and a walk in his first inning of baseball since 2013 to keep the heavy-hitting Dominican Republic team off the scoreboard. Here in the second, he'll get Nelson Cruz, Adrian Beltre, and Gregory Polanco. 4-time All-Star Nelson Cruz, 3 consecutive seasons of 40 or more home runs. There's a shot out to center field, really well hit. Pompey's not going to get to it. It bounds off the wall. And the second inning opens in similar fashion to the first with a stand-up double.
Well, one of the things we talked about, he was going to have to utilize every real estate in this ballpark. And earlier, that's exactly what happened. To get out of the first, this ball was hit all the way to the track, but it had hang time. Pompey could run it down, but this one was absolutely barreled to where Pompey, you see, he recognizes that ball squared up. It actually makes a turn. And as you said, Matty, back-to-back doubles for the Dominican Republic.
Runner in scoring position with nobody out now for the DH, 4-time All-Star and future Hall of Famer in the minds of many, Adrian Beltre. Beltre was something of a late add to the Dominican roster. Tony Pena and Moises Alou were hopeful that they'd have, boy, one of the best players to come off their island nation ever on the roster this year. And they held a spot for him and got a late commitment from Beltre that he was healthy and ready to go. Back up the middle, grabbed by Orr. Throw to first is in time. Runner moves over to third base now with one gone.
We've already seen the defense help out Ryan Dempster, and that's what he was going to need. And this defense, you may not know a lot about all of them, but Tyler O'Neill, great upside for him. Pompey, Tassani in right, and then Eric Wood, Hollow, Orr, and Freeman, along with Gutierrez behind the plate.
So runner at third with one gone now for the left-handed hitting Pittsburgh Pirate Gregory Polanco. Good numbers for Polanco last year, and most of those good numbers came in the first couple of months of the season. Polanco did not enjoy a particularly strong summer. Canada plays the infield in with that runner at third and one gone. Polanco playing in the World Baseball Classic for the first time. A swing and a miss.
I would think if he could get from that pitch and go lower with each split right here, a heavy diet of splits to try and either get a strikeout or, as the infield is drawn in, maybe a weak ground ball. See the split sign right there.
Ball and 2 strikes to Polanco. It's appropriate to post these numbers for you with Dempster at 30 pitches. There are pitcher rest restrictions, of course, in the World Baseball Classic. It's designed to protect the players. If you go 2 days in a row, you have to have a day of rest. 30 or more pitches means you cannot come back the next day. 50 or more pitches, and you're not eligible to pitch again until 4 days later. 5 days later, really, with 4 days of rest being the important number.
Good idea right there by Ryan. He's got one more pitch to play with if he wants to go to another one right there before he gets to the 3-2 count.
You know, we've seen that get back to the pitch restriction numbers, John. We've seen it played out already in the tournament. 49 is the magic number for a lot of managers to try to preserve eligibility for their veteran arms. And Polanco has driven in the game's first run.
Tried to trick him, thinking he might be sitting off speed. Fastball doesn't quite get in. Big swing by Polanco, but the ball up allows him to elevate over the drawn-in infield. Would have been a hit anyways. You're going to see a lot of this with the Dominican Republic. They talk about how much fun they're going to have. They're going to have a lot of fun. They keep that unblemished record from last time.
Big swing and a miss by Wellington Castillo. Castillo, one of the new Baltimore Orioles for 2017. That'll be his 4th different organization since the start of the 2015 season, believe it or not. Always been a plus offensive upside catcher. Polanco's running, and Castillo sends a drive into the opposite corner. That ball's well hit, and that one is gone. don't know that that guy that made the catch on that ball in the right field corner thought that he'd be looking for a souvenir with a right-handed batter in the box.
That ball was hit a long way. This is a big ballpark. Not a bad pitch. He just goes with it. He tries to pull that. Of course, the results are different. He goes right with it, head down, barrels it to the right field corner for a home run.
2 balls and no strikes to Jose Reyes. Watch the dude make the catch here. Or at least get the ball. How about that? He didn't make the catch at all. The 2-0 to Reyes. 2-1 now. You know, Ryan Dempster got out of that first inning jam, John, and then the double that led off the second. And if he were to be able to get out of it again, I mean, you'd be talking about fitting him for a cape and a magic hat. This lineup is downright scary.
Yeah, and even if he was in midseason form, you got to be perfect against this lineup. Those last 2 pitches are an example of being able to spot it. The separation, again, the equipment that Dempster has to get him out.
Reyes is on base again.
What happens in this game, and even Ryan knows it, if there's not enough separation between fastball and off speed, they don't have to respect one of those pitches, and that's why he's trying to guess when to throw the fastball, when to throw the split. That was a good split that he threw, but because Reyes had already seen a number of pitches, 7 in the first at bat, he was comfortable with everything that he had seen from Ryan Dempster.
Well, Dempster's faced 5 batters this inning and given up 4 hits. Here's Manny Machado, who hit a ball square in the first and landed in the glove of Tyler O'Neill. Reyes has an enormous lead off of first.
People at home know how much guts it takes to do what Ryan has done, right? I mean, to have very little prep time, to put on a uniform for his country, and have not pitched since 2013. I admire the fact that he's attempting to do this.
Reyes stays put, and there's a strike to Machado. You know, I think that it's also worth clarifying for folks, John, because baseball fans know that Ryan Dempster has a big personality. He's a good-natured guy. He enjoys himself. He loves to have fun, but it doesn't mean that he's doing this on a whim. He was serious about coming out here and competing. He didn't take this lightly at all. Infield pop for Orr, and 2 away.
And that's what I mean. It's like, you know, he's not trying to make a comeback, right? This is just something he had an opportunity to do. And you want it to go as best as possible. But the reality is, look at the first game he's facing. This team. It's the best team.
Yeah. Yeah. There's Robinson Cano now. Reyes still aboard with 3 runs in and 2 away here in the home second. I don't know that Ryan Dempster had to face a lineup like this when he was in his prime. A strike to Cano. Drew a 4-pitch walk in his first plate appearance tonight, and lets home plate umpire Dan Iasonia know that he thought that first pitch was a little wide. Worth noting, there are 2 major league umpires on this crew tonight. One and one. And that's Dan Iasonia, who's working the plate. Crew chief Mark Wegner's at first base. Crew chief and Hawk Harrelson foil Mark Wegner, might I add. Edwin Hernandez at second from Puerto Rico. And Jesus Miller from Mexico working third. Ball and 2 strikes to Robinson Cano. Tony Pena with us before the game tonight, raving about Robinson Cano's leadership qualities, which were certainly on display when the Dominican Republic won the WBC in 2013, and they seem to have followed him here this year as well. He is the leader of this star-studded squad. Throw into first is close.
Yeah, I would think that Reyes is going to go here with 2 strikes, or at least attempt with 2 strikes on Cano, get something going.
Three-time stolen base champ with another aggressive leadoff first. 2-2 now. So if Ryan Dempster's going to pitch later in this pool, he's only got 4 bullets left tonight. He's at 45 pitches again. At 50 or more, you have a mandatory 4-day rest served your way. Love to get out of it right here. Cano won't let him. A base hit into right. Reyes to third. Nobody up in Canada's bullpen at this point, so it's going to be Ryan Dempster to try to go as long as he can here. The single game limit is 65 pitches. We showed you those thresholds earlier. And now it's going to be Jose Bautista for a second time. Dempster's only strikeout victim so far tonight. Runners at the corners, 3 runs in with 2 gone. Another base hit to the right side. Another run scores. Here's Reyes to cross the plate, and it's 4-0 Dominican Republic.
Again, fastball has done. He's just staying back and going to that wide open side. The shift on a guy that predominantly pulls the ball early in spring training. Again, each hitter trying to get the feel of live pitching and timing that the hitter requires. And some guys, you can talk to them and say it takes 3/4 of spring training before you ever feel like you're closer to game ready.
Carlos Santana will be the 9th Dominican Republic batter to see the plate this inning as pitching coach Dennis Boucher goes out to have a visit with Dempster. Our aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Santana was the last out in the first. He left a couple of runners stranded and would love to cash in and make amends for that here. He's got Cano and Bautista aboard with 4 runs in. Total of 6 hits this inning. Fly ball into shallow center that should end the inning. Not without some damage, however. 4 runs on 6 hits through 2 innings. Opening Pool C tonight. The defending champs are off to a hot start. 4-0 Dominican Republic.
Here we go. It's about time that we set it off.
Welcome back. Boy, a lot of baseball coming your way. We'll post the upcoming schedule for you in just a moment. But here in the top half of the third, it'll be Jonathan Malo leading things off. There's that schedule. China and Japan get underway at 5 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning, technically. And a lot of World Baseball Classic action to follow on Friday as pool play is going all across the world. The only thing that's wrapped up is the bracket in Seoul, Korea, with the Kingdom of the Netherlands and Israel moving on. China and Japan followed by Colombia versus the United States at 6 Eastern tomorrow. John and I will be here for that. And then Venezuela and Puerto Rico wrap up the night.
That'll be a good one.
Malo with a ground ball up the middle. Great play by Reyes. Throws off line, however, and Malo takes the turn heading for second. Thinking about third and then thinking better of it. Leadoff hitter aboard for Team Canada.
Well, Reyes had to go up the middle, and he's got that quick little sidearm throw. Maybe took just a little second not respecting the speed, and that took the throw offline.
So runner at second to start the visitors' half of the third. It's back to the top of the order now. Dalton Pompey. Error charged to Reyes on that chance. And that gives Canada a runner in scoring position for the second time tonight. You know, Dalton Pompey is one of the interesting players on Canada's roster. Toronto Blue Jay fans certainly familiar with him, having been up and down from the big league roster for the last parts of 3 seasons. He's going to at least move a base runner here as that one's tapped to Santana for one away. You know, for a guy like that who's been up and down for as long as Pompey has, you kind of lose sight of how young he still is. He's only 24 years old. And there are a lot of people internally in Toronto that feel like at some point he's got to be given a chance to play every day, despite the burdensome salaries that might be carried in that Toronto outfield.
He would like his chances if he could stay healthy. And then this guy, I thought somebody might take a flyer. I hate the word flyer, but he's not signed. Morneau.
Yeah, and not a guy who's unsigned because that's what he wants. He wants to play someplace this year. I mean, the resume just pops off the page. You know all about the MVP season, the batting title. Behind 0-2 here. He's trying to put the ball in play to get Malo home with one gone. And a swing and a miss. Time was taken, however.
Called a balk.
Indeed, that's going to score a run. A little bit of the rust of spring.
He's saying he didn't come set. He didn't break. He broke his hands almost as if a quick pitch. When you come to the stretch, you got to be able to have a little bit of a pause. Watch when he gets to the stretch. He didn't see that as enough separation between his hand going in the glove and coming out. It's a little bit, maybe a little, little
really?
picky.
Oh my gosh. I mean, look, Team Canada's not going to complain, but that'd be a rough one to swallow in a championship game. So that's how Team Canada cracks the scoreboard. Big fastball is swung on and missed. 98 miles an hour from Martinez.
His hands are below the belt, right? So when he comes to the stretch, his hand's going to go in the glove. Watch the glove come in, and it's below the belt, and the umpire just did not think that was enough time of separation. You see the umpire saying he just did a continual motion, which it didn't look like a continual motion, but nonetheless it was too close, and I guarantee you Martinez will create a bigger separation next time.
There's Tyler O'Neill now. Flying to right in his first at bat. You know, that might not seem like a big deal. It's 4-1. It looks like the Dominican lineup is just going to cook like this all night. But runs allowed is the first tie-breaking tenet. And because this is a round-robin style tournament, the top 2 winningest teams move on to San Diego. There just might be a scenario where the tiebreaker formula is needed. Ground ball for Reyes. And on a bang-bang play, the shot is retired. Canada's on the scoreboard, however, on the balk call. Through 2.5. 4-1 Dominican Republic. First pitching change of the night as Ryan Dempster's night is done after 2 innings, and he will yield to 31-year-old Andrew Alberts. WBC returnee, pitched for Team Canada in 2013. Spent his 2016 season as Twins property and largely plying his craft at the AAA level. He'll get Cruz, Beltre, and Polanco here in the 3rd.
Pitches exclusively out of the stretch, as you're seeing here with nobody on. Good fastball, sneaky, quick slider at 79 miles an hour, and a changeup acts as a screwball. It's actually a pretty good pitch. His curveball will sweep and much slower in velocity, 69 to 70 miles an hour.
0-2 the count to Nelson Cruz.
1-2.
Whose leadoff double keyed the 4-run inning in the 2nd. At least opened the 4-run inning. Nelson Cruz makes his living on southpaws in the Grande Ligas.
You know, we keep forgetting, and we talk about this as a tournament, and there actually is some strategy that you would have as a manager that's different if you were just playing baseball games. And that is trying to find a way to move on, right? Who to use, when to use your starters, when to use your relievers. And a lot of people may ask, well, why would you start Ryan Dempster against the Dominican Republic? He hadn't pitched in 5 years. And why do this? Why do that? And you try to match up your team's strengths and weaknesses accordingly to see where you can steal wins, where you can win a game in advance out of the first round.
Swing and a miss, and a strikeout starts the night for Andrew Alberts.
And Ernie Witt said, we're just going to rely on the veteran to see if he can't fool him and trick him and rely on that. Shoot, even Ernie Witt said in the onset he hadn't seen Ryan Dempster throw yet. So you knew it was a big matchup for Canada, and you knew they were going to give everything they have. But maybe some of those things come into play in how you align up your pitchers against a team that is so heavily favored and expected to win.
Here's Adrian Beltre now. Yeah, JP, what does this mean in terms of Dempster in 2 innings for Canada's next game on Sunday?
Well, Matt, of course, against Team USA on Sunday, this really now limits them most likely to Scott Richmond, who's been pitching recently in Taiwan, and Chris LaRue. So again, Team Canada, Ernie Witt, they do not have a clear starting pitcher for Sunday, which certainly factored into their calculus here about tonight's game.
Yeah, that's their next to next game. Sunday is looking a little farther down the road. You know, and here's the thing with, realistically speaking, John, and no disrespect, you look at this pool and the U.S. and the Dominicans are the favorites, and the other 2 teams, Canada and Colombia, are looking for a way to catch lightning in a bottle and beat either one of those teams and then beat the other team. I mean, Canada and Colombia are looking at each other like a rabid dog looks at a pork chop. Like, I got to get that.
Yeah.
And then you try to play that giant slayer against one of the 2 favorites and hope that the math can move you on to San Diego.
Yeah, in a perfect world, if you're Canada, Colombia, and you want to do such that, if you can't beat the Dominican Republic, you hope they go 3-0.
Right.
And somehow, some way, the other 3 teams are 1-2. And then you have a potential, well, you would have a play-in game on Monday for one of those teams to move on. The other one will have won based on the tiebreaker, runs allowed, all the different things that go into a three-way tie.
Ball and 2 strikes to Adrian Beltre. And it's 2-2 now. I don't think anybody on the opposing pitching staffs feel this way, but I, for one, was glad as a fan when I learned that Adrian Beltre was going to play in this tournament. He's not only one of the great players in our game, he is a lot of fun to watch because he has fun when he plays.
He really does, and that culture is a reason why the Rangers have such an incredible clubhouse, mainly because of this guy.
Whether it's stuff like that, right? Dancing around in the box, flipping his bat around, or keeping teammates from touching his bare head, which is a thing for him, or teasing Elvis Andrus, his teammate and friend with the Rangers.
Or hitting a home run off of the knee, one knee.
Yeah, right. Rocket foul. I mean, he's literally done everything well in his big league career. He's hit for power when he's been asked to. His last year in LA, way back in 2004, he was the major league's home run leader. He's a Gold Glover, 5 Gold Gloves, as we've talked about.
He's headed to the Hall of Fame, so he was so important that Tony Pena said, we're waiting to the last minute, last second, whatever you can do when you can, if you can, and they did, and now he's playing.
Not to mention 58 hits away from 3,000. So that, I mean, that party's going to happen in Arlington at some time. And I mean, his teammates are getting a kick out of him here. And it almost looks, I want to bring JP in on this. It almost looks, JP, I'm going to mispronounce this, I know, like he's playing a game of Vitilla.
Vitilla, yes, a great Dominican tradition, a bottle cap game. Their version of stickball played with a broomstick and bottle caps, which we are told, Matt, is likely to be occurring either on the field or perhaps even in the clubhouse during this WBC. So I, my friend, will be on that story for sure.
I can't wait to see it happen live. Hey, more on Adrian Beltre. These one-knee home runs are fabulous. 19 years in the big leagues, and I mean, we could watch this all day. This is the Reggie Jackson super duper star swing that landed Reggie on the cover of Sports Illustrated in the 70s. Difference is when Adrian does this on occasion, the ball actually leaves the ballpark.
Well, I've been embarrassed by that game, by the way, at our network with Pedro Martinez and Carlos Pena showing us exactly Pedro can make a bottle cap do anything he wants, just like he could a baseball. And there is no chance you can hit one until you've been, I don't know how long it would take to even hit one. It is an incredible art of hand-eye coordination.
Really? So you played it with Pedro? Well, you know what? I mean, what makes Pedro so great at stuff like that is his focus.
It's exactly right.
Side goes down in order in the third. Through 3, still 4-1 for the Dominican Republic. Welcome back to this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. The defending champs from the Dominican Republic off to a 4-1 lead. Back with John Palmarosi and John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian. We start play here in the home half of the 4th. Pedro Martinez, I got Pedro on the brain. Carlos Martinez back to work for Team Dominican Republic. Freddie Freeman leads things off. Eric Wood and Rene Tassoni follow. We were having a discussion about Adrian Beltre earlier, talking about how he started at such a young age, accomplished so much because he had a head start breaking in at age 18. I'd say the same of Freddie Freeman to a degree. 7 years in the big leagues, and he's still only 27 years old. I mean, there's a lot left for this guy.
Freddie can flat out hit. Started off really slow last year, put on an MVP campaign. Of course, the Braves weren't doing much, so he didn't get as many votes. But boy, did he get hot.
And a swing and a miss. One gone for Martinez in the fourth. Between innings, J.P. Morosi had a chance to visit with Team Dominican Republic manager Tony Pena.
Tony, your team did not lose a game in the last WBC. Is this lineup better?
Well, I think it is. You know, taking in consideration all those guys that we have this year, it's totally different lineup than what we have in the past. You know, and I can see those guys, you know, having fun in the field, and this is what it's all about.
You mentioned the fun. We just saw the at-bat with Beltre. How happy are you that he's part of this team?
I'm so happy that he's able to be here, you know, and like he told me, you know, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Of course, I want to make sure that I see into his eyes. That way I can believe him, you know, but he looked good.
Tony, gracias.
You know.
There's an opposite field base hit for Eric Wood. Hit number 3 for Team Canada tonight.
Martinez has been pretty efficient, and other than the first inning, I feel like he's been comfortable, meaning he's not revving up, not doing too much. He knows his team is good. He knows he's got great defense. If he just doesn't get carried away and pound the strike zone, he'll be okay. There, an 0-2 slider that he would like to have back.
Rene Tassoni singled back in the second, the first of the 3 Team Canada hits so far. All of them singles in this one. Rene Tassoni, another of the returnees to the World Baseball Classic. And one of the more accomplished world players on Team Canada's roster. 7 seasons in minor league baseball, but he's played in the Pan Am Games. Behind here, a ball and 2 strikes. One of a number of players on this roster who have significant international experience, JP.
Yes, Matt. In fact, Tassoni hit a game-tying home run in the gold medal game against Team USA in the Pan Am Games back in 2015. That, of course, happened before with that wonderful international tiebreaker. Canada came back to beat the U.S. in extra innings on a run scored by Pete Orr.
And you know, the Pan Am Games are worthy of mention here, if only because Canada has had some significant success in that competition. And Ernie Witt has been at the helm for much of that. I showed you the number earlier, 65 wins as the manager of Team Canada, a lot of that success in the Pan Am Games. You'd think that that might move the needle north of the border, but as we know, that's hockey country up there. And that was almost a double play ball had it not been for the low throw that Santana couldn't pull out of the dirt.
Well, with a format like this, not that this game will turn on that play, but you know the pitch count is affected. He's got 51 pitches. He would have been out of the inning, possibly get another inning out of him. This throw in the dirt, he knew he had so much time, he almost took the foot off the gas there, did Reyes.
Worth posting these numbers once again. At 50 or more pitches, a mandatory 4 days of rest.
Martinez looks really good. You see the 52 pitches. Every once in a while he has a habit of falling to first base, getting out of his mechanics.
George Kocharis with a ground ball to Cano. Smooth and casual as he is once the regular season begins in the Grande Ligas. And nothing in Team Canada's half of the 4th. It's still 4-1 Dominican Republic. Get out of bed for good reason in the morning, because MLB Central is your leadoff look at the day in baseball with an all-star lineup of guests and all the news that's central to the game. MLB Central returns by Hyundai, presented April 3rd and all season long on MLB Network. Wellington Castillo leads things off in the Dominican half of the fourth. A number 9 batter, followed by Jose Reyes and Manny Machado. 4-1. All 4 of the runs coming in the bottom half of the second by the Dominican Republic lineup. 4 runs on 6 hits against Ryan Dempster, who wrapped up this comeback with 2 innings of work, his first 2 innings since 2013. And it is about the 16-year veteran that J.P. Morosi visited with his manager, Ernie Witt.
Thanks, Ernie. Obviously a tough assignment for Ryan against this lineup. What can you say about his effort?
Well, you know, I thought he threw the ball okay. You know, they got a couple of hits that found the hole, but he's kept us in the ball game, and now it's up to our bullpen to continue to keep us in there and then, you know, see what our hitters can do.
Understanding why Freddie Freeman is here representing Canada, how proud are you to have him on your ball club?
I'm excited that he's with our lineup. You know, he just adds another class individual to our organization, and, you know, I can't be more thrilled for him.
Ernie, thanks so much.
All right.
Yeah, I would imagine when the phone call was made, nobody said, let us think about it, Freddie. Let us see if we can squeeze you in. I mean, he's the best player they have on their roster.
I don't think many people until maybe now knew about his story and his parents. And Freddie Freeman, of course, with the Atlanta Braves. They too trying to rebuild and get back. And he's a cornerstone of that organization right now.
And a called strike 3, the first time they've kept Jose Reyes off the base paths in this one. 2 gone here in the 4th. Well, you mentioned how Freddie Freeman didn't get off to a great start last year, but ended up with terrific numbers. 34 home runs, all these career highs, by the way, and done within a lineup that didn't offer him tons of protection all year long.
No, and I tell you, he was coming off a scary injury. A lot of people concerned in the offseason about his wrist and whether or not he was going to be healthy through the year, and he got off to a horrific start. I mean, to the point where people were questioning whether or not this wrist was going to be a lingering problem. Well, he put that to rest and just got on fire from about May, June on, and really never stopped hitting.
2 gone, bases empty now for Manny Machado. Andrew Alvarez, meanwhile, looking for back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings to try to quiet down what started the night as a rather loud lineup.
He's giving him a little different look. Sneaky fastball with a good changeup, mixing in some off speed. That's what you're going to have to do against a club who can sit on a pitch. Every one of these guys have power to all fields. They can humiliate you in a hurry.
Base hit by Machado. His first of the night, and a 2-out base runner here in the 4th. So now Robinson Cano reached base safely in both of his appearances against Ryan Dempster with a walk and a single. And he'll get that different look now against the left-hander Andrew Alvarez. We talked about Cano being the MVP of the 2013 World Baseball Classic. It's kind of easy to forget because it seems like such a long time ago that it was the Cano show from the start of the tournament on. 15 hits, and that was the most in a single tournament in WBC history. That one for the shortstop Malo to retire the side. 2 scoreless innings by Andrew Alvarez mid-innings here in Game 1 of Pool C. We head to the 5th. It's still 4-1 DR. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Tito Puente, eat your heart out. Some of the flavor at Marlins Park tonight, and a pitching change for Team Dominican Republic as Hansel Robles takes over on the mound here in the 5th.
Fastball in the upper 90s, 97 and above at times, slings it. Has a slider with a smaller break. Big part of the Mets bullpen. Big part of what they hope is a nice run for the Dominican Republic. From this point on, it's going to be, you can only hope if you're Canada, one of these guys is off their game and is a little wild.
Pete Orr leads things off for Team Canada in the 5th. Orr, Malo, and then top of the order, Dalton Pompey. As Ernie Witt mentioned earlier, Team Canada very much in this game early on. Despite the 4-run rally, the lead by the Dominican Republic team, Andrew Albers doing a good job to quiet down that lineup in the 3rd and 4th. Orr grounded to second base to end the 2nd inning tonight. Bouncer up the middle and through, and the leadoff hitters aboard in the 5th.
Well, for Carlos Martinez, we're going to show you exactly what he did. Statcast, powered by Amazon Web Services. His ability to spin a ball, his ability to throw with velocity. He had it all. It was almost like he was playing with the Canadian team. When he wanted to rev it up, he did. When he sat back and smoothed his mechanics out, this guy's got a lot of gears, a lot of weapons. For the St. Louis Cardinals, maybe, just maybe now, he can take the handcuffs off and 200+ innings and be the front-line guy in their rotation.
Here's Jonathan Malo now with the leadoff hitter aboard. You know, we focused, John, on how deep the lineup is for the Dominicans. Not to be outdone is what they offer out of the bullpen. I mean, they come at you with, Hansel Robles has closer stuff. Here he is in the 5th. And that depth is needed in the World Baseball Classic, just by way of this night as an example. So, because Carlos Martinez threw over 50 pitches, he will not pitch again in Miami. He'll next be eligible in San Diego. He's got a 4-day required rest coming starting tomorrow. Popped him up. And out of play. Not to worry though, JP. I mean, maybe in another situation you lose your game 1 starter for the rest of the tournament, you might panic, but there are plenty of places for the Dominican team to turn.
Well, Matt, as we talk about Robles and the rest of the Dominican pen, remember this: they have a day off tomorrow. Team USA does not. They open against Colombia, the Americans do, tomorrow night here in Miami. So the Dominicans' A bullpen, all their top relievers have a day of rest tomorrow, whereas the Americans, Matt, they may have to pitch tomorrow against Colombia.
Yeah, it's a good point. Take a look at the bullpen options that Tony Pena has. He absolutely loaded. We asked Tony Pena before the game today, you know, I mean, you have 4 potential closers here, and he said if I had to anoint a true closer in this group, it'd be Familia. He's the guy he's most comfortable with in the 9th. I think he'd be really comfortable with any of them. But in a classic formula, it would be Familia in the 9th inning. Chopper to 3rd. Look at Machado go to 2nd for 1. Not in time to double him off. Wow.
Standing hands, tremendous accuracy. This is an in-between hop that he goes and gets. Great turn by Cano, but great hustle down the line. They make this play look so routine and so easy, and it's not. Of course, there's no replay other than home run, so the call on the field will be the call on the field.
Good point. No challenges here. And here's Dalton Pompey now with the runner aboard and one gone. Big lead at first by Malo. Pompey bunting foul.
You know, it is interesting the draw and how these teams compete. Both these teams will have a day off tomorrow, as we mentioned. However, Tony Pena said that his team will be working out at 8 a.m. in the morning, and during their run of the 2013, they worked out every day that they had a day off. His goal is to get these guys ready for spring training, but at the same time compete at the highest level to win. And that's what he's determined to do.
Yeah, they were the only team, ironically, that did work out on every off day in 2013. There were a lot of things in play there too, John, because we remember the previous running of the World Baseball Classic in 2009. The Dominican team, heavy favorites then as well, suffered an upset defeat against the Dutch. And it came the day after a lot of leisure time, shall we say. A little side expedition back to the island from Florida. The Dominican team came back to continue in the WBC and was roundly defeated. Hey, there's a ball smoked out to left center field, and it'll get over Polanco and Batista. Being waved around is Malo. He'll score without a play, and it's a 4-2 ball game.
Two-strike hit, and then a good go with the pitch the other way. Splits the gap with two right fielders coming together. Team Canada, as we heard from the onset, will scrap and play this game to the entirety, no matter what the score is. That's their motto.
There's Justin Morneau now with a runner at second, one away, and a run in.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, Canada will forever be known, obviously, for hockey, but what the World Baseball Classic and maybe the emergence of this team getting out of the first round and creating some excitement will get more buzz talked about in the efforts of baseball in their country.
A ball and a strike to Morneau. You know, you could make a case, and I know U.S. baseball fans are going to hate hearing anybody try to make this case, but there are those that believe that baseball was first played in Canada, despite the conventional Abner Doubleday Cooperstown folklore. A ball and two strikes to Morneau. If we're going to play dates game, the first baseball game recorded in Canada was played in honor of King George IV's birthday. I don't want to sound like Cliff Clavin here, Smoltzy, so stop me if this gets hairy. But that was in June of 1838, roughly a year before Abner Doubleday was credited with inventing, quote unquote, the game in upstate New York. Send your angry letters to JP Morosi at MLB.com. Good take by Morneau, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. There goes Pompey, a swing and a miss. Throwing to third is not in time. So Morneau strikes out. Pompey swipes third, and there are 2 gone in the inning.
Much better 2-strike pitch right there to Morneau. Away. Pompey almost created some havoc there. Throw wide, but Machado was there in time. This would be a huge 2-out hit. The young stud here for the Mariners can come up with one.
Tyler O'Neill's 0 for 2 so far, trying to make this a 1-run ball game. He takes a strike. Good numbers last year at Double-A Jackson. where he was named not only the Championship Series MVP, but the Southern League MVP. 24 home runs, drove in over 100 runs. Behind here 0-2. He is not only one of the top prospects in the Mariners developmental chain. According to MLB.com, he is the number 36 overall prospect in baseball. And a swing and a miss. Hansel Robles limits the damage at a single run. Canada climbing a bit closer, however. Middle of the night, it's 4-2 DR. This World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, perfect. And by Lexus. Experience the thrill of the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer. And by Wendy's. And a new pitcher on for Team Canada. The big right-hander veteran Jim Henderson takes over.
Yeah, Henderson has really good, as you saw, extension on his fastball. Throws across his body with a 3/4 arm slot. He will throw his slider. It doesn't have a huge break, but he relies on that extension and throwing across his body to give him the best weapon against the hitters.
His 2016 numbers with the Mets. He was on their opening day roster and a part of their bullpen mix early in the season, but it was a lost season after that moment. Missed 2 months with a right shoulder impingement, a hamstring injury. It seems that Jim Henderson has made a living of coming back from injuries. Missed most of 2014 with a rotator cuff problem. He's a returnee to Canada's WBC roster. Was at the event in 2013. He's got Bautista, Santana, and Cruz here in the 5th. Just a 2-run ball game here. And Jose Bautista's aboard, his 2nd hit of the night. Henderson, the 3rd pitcher used by Team Canada tonight. Andrew Albers was great for 2 shutout innings, and the starter was Ryan Dempster, who saw his first game action tonight since the 2013 World Series, and he's standing by with JP Morosi.
Thanks, Matt. Very pleased to be joined by Ryan Dempster here. And Ryan, as Matt mentioned, you're a World Series champion. You pitched in the postseason multiple times. Was this the toughest lineup you've ever seen?
Yeah, I mean, this was like an all-star team. It really was. It never quit. You know, they put together obviously some great at-bats and fought off a lot of good pitches. And, what a blast that was. I know I didn't get the results I wanted. After I got out of that first inning, I felt good about it, and then they just kept coming. So, unfortunately, you know, couldn't leave the game with a win or a tie game, but we're still in it, and hopefully we can come back. But what a blast that was. And face these guys, no wonder they're defending champs. They're pretty stacked.
Well, John Smoltz made the comment, Ryan, during the game. This took a lot of courage for you.
Back to that in a moment. Carlos Santana to deep central. That's going to wrap Bautista around to try to score. The throw home, however, is in time to get him. JP, hang on with Ryan just for a moment. We want to show that again as Team Canada executes perfectly to get an over-aggressive Jose Bautista.
Yeah, execute as they did. This is a team that hasn't been together much, but each player was in the perfect position. Pompey goes back. He knows he can't get it. Watch the tandem relay. Once they get it, good throw, and then a bullet right to home. And, of course, the tag of Bautista. So, huge momentum swing there for Canada after the Dominican Republic put together 2 straight hits.
Runner at second with 1 gone. Still just a 2-run ball game now for Nelson Cruz. And JP, as you still have Ryan Dempster's ear, I'm curious his thoughts not only on that play, but on some of his teammates that he's getting to know for the first time, like Jonathan Malo.
Yes, Matt, and again, a great play there by Malo with the great relay throw there. Ryan, what can you say about just getting to know this group of teammates here on Team Canada?
It's been fun, man. It came together really fast when we met in Tampa. And a couple team dinners, and it feel like you play with the guys for years. So, yeah, we're already a close-knit group of guys having fun on the bus ride and the plane ride and all that stuff. And even you hear it here in the dugout. We're down 4-2, and it feels like we're winning the game. Kind of energy in here. So it's been an absolute blast so far, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back out there another time.
And I was mentioning, John Smoltz made the point that to come back out here, Ryan, after not pitching for 3 years, took a lot of courage. How proud are you of yourself?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I just reflect for a second there and realize, that would I love the great results, of course. It would have been awesome to go out there and throw 5 shutout innings, but I like the challenge of it all. And like you said, the courage to do it, to show to my kids that if you put your mind to something, you can do it. For anybody, don't fear what the results might be or the process. Enjoy it. And I just had an absolute blast getting ready for this, and already game 1 having a blast watching these games and being a part of it all.
Ryan, thanks and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, JP.
Matt, back to you.
All right, JP, thanks. An appeal on that check swing, and down to the appeal, Mark Wegner at first. They say that Nelson Cruz did not swing the bat, so 3 balls and a strike. Seen a little bit of everything tonight, John. We have seen great defense, as we saw a moment ago. We've seen power hitting. We've seen pitchers working out of jams. We've seen a comeback, that of Ryan Dempster. I'll tell you, after the 4-run bottom of the second, folks may have thought that this one was just going to be off to the races, talking about the mercy rule. Not so fast, and a swing and a miss makes it 3-2.
Yeah, and the whole goal for Team Canada was to create stress wherever they could, and that means battle at the plate, put it in play, try not to strike out, take an extra base, make the defensive play, create as much stress as possible so that it builds for the other side, because you're pretty much playing free. Everyone's told you you're not supposed to win.
House money, as they say. Adrian Beltre waiting next.
Henderson, you got to make a good slider pitch here. 3-2, base open, good power hitter. Keep it away from him somehow.
And he lost it with a fastball on ball 4. So 3 batters faced by Jim Henderson, and the only out coming on that terrific relay throw in that play at the plate. And now Adrian Beltre, who's 0 for 2 so far tonight.
I've been impressed with as the game's gone on. I keep looking, the crowd has gotten bigger and bigger.
It has. As you say that, I look around, and first pitch not so much, but this place is filled in nicely tonight. I mean, you don't need us to tell you, it's pretty much a DR crowd. And Adrian Beltre has his first hit of the WBC. They're going to wave Santana around, and it's 5-2 DR. Yeah, we're going to have a pitching change.
Henderson just didn't make enough quality pitches against a great lineup. Leaving too many pitches over the middle of the plate, and that's going to be it for him.
A run in, 2 on with only 1 away. A pitching change, and we'll be right back. Follow every pitch of this year's World Baseball Classic live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the best players this spring and all season long with radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today, your #1 app for live baseball. And join Major League Baseball a new era as we celebrate opening day. Make sure to wear your cap on April 3rd and share a photo on social media using #CapsOn. Tune into all the opening day action April 3rd on ESPN, MLB Network, and MLB.com. And a pitching change. Ernie Whitt wanted a left-hander. Kevin Chapman takes over with a run in, 1 away, and 2 runners aboard to face Gregory Polanco in a big situation.
Houston, 3-quarter delivery, 91+ miles an hour. You see the numbers there. Fresno AAA. Curveball. Bigger break, changeup has a little firm action, more like a two-seamer. This fastball can have a quick action towards the hitter based on the way he hides it.
29-year-old lefty, 7 minor league seasons, all spent in the Astros chain. Drafted by the Royals initially, a 4th rounder in 2010. Polanco has singled in a run and popped out tonight. On the corner to make it 2-1. Kevin Chapman is actually a Floridian from Coral Springs, Florida, but qualifies for Team Canada. This is his first WBC action because his dad was born north of the border. Working out of the stretch, the lefty's 2-1 is fouled away.
Polanco, just an emerging star. Big swing, a lot of tools. Looks like he's headed for center field for the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. A little bit of a change. Andrew McCutchen, who we'll see tomorrow, normally played that position.
2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Polanco. That's wrapped to second base, takes a high hop for Orr. They're able to get 1 out at second base. It was a close one, but Beltre's forced at the bag, and there were 2 gone. Again, no challenges, no replays in the World Baseball Classic.
Well, earlier as we watched this play, just really close.
Close enough to say he was safe.
Theodore doing the best he can right there to get the ball out of his glove as soon as he can. And yes, looks like he might have beat the throw.
Yeah. Wellington Castillo now with runners at the corners and 2 gone. Castillo's 2-run home run in the second. A big blow in this one so far tonight. This is what the rule book says on replay review in WBC play. In the first and second rounds, only to determine home runs, and it's got to come from the crew chief. Replay rules change in the championship round. That'll be in Los Angeles to those of Major League Baseball. Oh, and 2 to Castillo. First 4 batters to lead off the inning all reached base safely. The only out came on the base pass in Jim Henderson's watch. Chapman gets an out on the base pass. And then he gets a strikeout of Castillo to get Canada out of any further trouble. Only one in the Dominican half of the fifth. Freddie Freeman leads off the top of the sixth. We go there with the Dominican Republic on top by 3. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Back with Hall of Famer John Smoltz, JP Morosi, Matt Vasgersian at Marlins Park. Pool C getting underway tonight. Team Dominican Republic off to a 5-2 lead, top of the 6th inning. And Freddie Freeman leads things off for Team Canada against a new pitcher for the DR. Fernando Abad takes over on the mound. And he starts Freeman with a breaking ball for a strike.
He has quick arm action, but from time to time he can run away from his delivery, which means command being the issue. Two-seamer along with a curveball, changeup.
A check swing apparently, and it's a ball and a strike to Freddie Freeman, who is 0 for 2 so far tonight. You know, we thought, John, that the pop from the Canada lineup was going to come at the top of the order. Productivity so far has come in the lower part of Canada's order, the lesser known commodities, if you will. Justin Morneau 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Freddie Freeman hitless. Tyler O'Neill, their number 3 batter, 0 for 3 tonight.
And that was kind of Canada's counter argument to, they don't know us. They don't have film on a lot of us, so their pitchers don't know what to do. And it can work both ways when you face somebody with a lot of video and you know what their statistics and what they're able to do. Canada's filled with some guys that the other team is just going to have to adapt because there's not a lot of video on them.
Two to Freeman. A high drive out to right center field. Plenty of space for Nelson Cruz to make the catch. You know, Fernando Abad is one of the more well-traveled participants in this World Baseball Classic. He's spent time in the Astros organization. That's where he started his career as a non-drafted free agent back in 2002. Time with the Nationals, Oakland, Minnesota. Most recently with the Red Sox in 2016. And he starts Eric Wood with a strike.
He also may be responsible for their 2013 success. He had a plantain flown in from the Dominican Republic, which it became known as the Magic Plantain.
Oh, was that his doing?
Yeah.
To Eric Wood, a drive into the opposite field for Cruz, and there are 2 gone. See, that's interesting because he doesn't get the. I don't think he gets the credit for that. I'm glad you set the record straight there, John. Fernando Rodney was the guy that kind of took the whole plantain shtick to a new level. In fact,
no, you're right. You're right. I read the wrong Fernando.
Ah,
you are absolutely right. It is Fernando Rodney.
Well, you could have sold it. I would have believed you.
I almost did till I scrolled down and saw that it's Rodney. And I had the right Fernando start, the wrong second name.
You got to get the bigger iPad, I think.
Yeah, I've got it. I just haven't converted yet.
2 gone now for Rene Tassoni. Rappin' Rodney. I mean, this guy, he's got some kind of a magnetic personality. He brought the plantain with him in 2013 everywhere this team went. It became like their good luck charm, and they rallied around it. And this year, when the rosters were introduced prior to this game tonight, he produced I mean, he's doubling down on his plantain shtick. He had like this gold-plated mega plantain that he produced from his belt. And as soon as he started waving it around, this place went nuts. 0-2 the count to Rene Tassoni. There it was. I mean, look at that thing, right? Where do you find that? He probably had it custom made. And how do you explain it to the TSA people?
Well, he's the all-time saves leader, WBC.
Let's take you back to 2013. There it was, holstered in his uniform, the Magic Plantain. He even took it with him during the regular season to follow that year. Little comebacker. Abad plays hockey with it, and then the throw to first is too late, so Tassoni's aboard.
Canada doesn't take any play off, and they all get down the line. I was trying to figure out what Santana was doing as he was in front of the bag. As Fernando get ready to throw the ball to first. See this play develop. Pops out of his glove, right? He gets it and he makes the throw. But look where Santana is. He's coming off the bag instead of being back at the bag, and he's sitting. I saw him just mentioned to his eyes he didn't have a good look at where that, obviously didn't see that he had the ball.
Scored as an error that's hung on a bot. Here's George Kataris now. So I guess Carlos Santana is playing first base like a DH, which is kind of what he is now.
Yes. He just did not read that play correctly. You can see Abad look at him like, what?
I wouldn't call that a deficiency on this roster, but you know, Santana's first base days are kind of in the rearview mirror, to the degree that Jose Bautista even volunteered with his manager Tony Pena to play first base.
He's not even looking right to the front, so you can understand why he did not pick up the ball and was coming off the bag. He's looking at shortstop, thinking the ball deflected off the glove to the shortstop.
Look, you didn't catch that one in the chops. Two balls and a strike to George Kataris. Only one extra base hit tonight for Team Canada. That was Dalton Pompey's double back in the fifth. Two balls and two strikes. Count now. The back of Fernando Abad's baseball card with all the various tours of duty and employers around the major league landscape matched it, in fact bettered by that of George Kataris at the plate. You talk about well traveled. Different employers in the big leagues, different continents. Pan Am Games, the Olympics. And a soft shot out to right field, handled by Cruz to retire the side. Nothing on Abad's watch in the sixth to the bottom of the inning. Still 5-2 DR. A beautiful overhead shot of Marlins Park tonight, and as John Smoltz mentioned earlier in the telecast, a place that's gotten a little louder and a little more full as the night has worn on. 5-2 for the defending champs, the team from the Dominican Republic. Kevin Chapman continues on the mound to draw the top of the order for Tony Peña's DR club, and that's Jose Reyes, followed by Manny Machado and Robinson Cano. Couple of hits for Reyes so far tonight, a double and a single. He struck out in the fourth. A third hit tonight for Jose Reyes. John, we've got some new technology that we're breaking out tonight, I understand.
Yes, we do. StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services, going to talk about the catch probability on this play right here is 79%. We've got a gentleman that's going to explain how this gets to that number as you see both outfielders running for the ball. 79% of the time that ball I'm taking should be caught.
Yeah, we welcome Matt Myers from MLB.com to the telecast. And Matt, first of all, I don't want to start hammering catch percentage because I want you to explain it to the world first. But would that have taken into account that that ball dropped in the middle of two right fielders that were vying for a ball in the left center field gap?
No, catch probability does not take that into account. No.
Fair enough, but explain that for us now, because this is the first we're hearing of catch probability.
Catch probability takes into account two factors. The first one is opportunity time, which is the amount of time that elapses.
An easy stolen base for Reyes.
The amount of time that elapses from the time the ball leaves the pitcher's hand until it would have landed off the bat. So in that case, I think it was 5.2, 5.3 seconds or so. And then it also takes into account the distance the outfielder needed to travel in order to get to the ball. So in that case, based on those two factors, that play is made around baseball amongst all outfielders 79% of the time.
Okay. Got a runner in scoring position now for Manny Machado with a 2-strike count. We got some questions for you on that, and I know that a lot of these new metrics, folks need context, and they need to know, how is this number derived? First of all, you have a 2-year backlog of sample studies here to get to that number?
Yeah, the StatCast era, as we call it, began at the beginning of the 2015 season. So we're basically taking every outfield catch in that span to create these benchmarks for what the catch that the typical outfielder will make. We give each catch a star rating, 1, 2, 3, or 5-star play.
Boy, that was almost a 5-star play by Jonathan Malo. He's unable to continue with the throw, however. He does manage to keep Reyes at second on what scored as an infield base hit for Manny Machado.
So yeah, as I was saying, every play gets a star. 5-star plays are the rarest. You maybe see them once or twice a night around baseball. And to give you context on that, last year the league leader had 10 5-star plays. Jose Bautista had 0.
Here we go, and here's some of that information that you're talking about.
And in fact, Jose Bautista only had 1 4-star play, so he's not on the field he's not in the lineup for his glove. But I think we all knew that already.
Runners at first and second now. A increasingly concerning situation here for Kevin Chapman. Robinson Cano the batter, and then it's the right-hander Jose Bautista on deck. Cano offers it the first pitch and pops it into shallow center.
So that play obviously speaks for itself, but what this does, I don't want to say eliminates root efficiency, but in essence takes root efficiency to a different level to quantify what most people or the average player would get this job done, and to say that play 79% more than average would have gotten that.
Exactly, that's what we like about it, because we think anyone can understand probabilities on a 0 to 100 scale. 0 is a play that is basically never made, and 100 is a play. I'm sure the catch probability on that can of corn right there was probably right around 100%.
a new defensive metric courtesy of StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services, that we'll be hearing more from throughout the 2017 season. Matt Myers from MLB.com, thanks for joining us for the explanation.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to break out some more of those catch probability numbers as we continue, but for now, a pitching change, and we'll be right back. Fires hot, runners at first and second with one away, and right-hander Dustin Mollican will try to get Jose Bautista and Carlos Santana on deck to keep it a 3-run game.
Dustin, after playing in Japan, time with the Tigers, fastball has 94 plus. He goes downhill with it. And it's very good when it's down, but sometimes the command issue is become his problem. His mechanics get in front of his arm. In other words, his body works too fast and his arm doesn't catch up.
And that one's yanked. 390 feet aboard, runners at second and third now.
You know, and that's what happens sometimes when you're anxious and trying to get it done. That slider that he throws has tight spin to it, but you have to be able to stay back and trust your mechanics so your arm gets in the right position to throw. You can see how quickly he wants to get it done, and he's out in front. And of course, he throws that slider in a spot where Contreras cannot catch it.
Bautista's got a pair of singles tonight. Pair of runners in scoring position for him here with the infield now in. And Joey Bats swings and sends a high, deep drive into the night. And gone! Toronto, you got a bargain. You got Joey Bats back on a 1-year deal with something to prove. 8-2 Dominican Republic.
This is just being down in the count. See how flat that fastball was? He pulled off of it, but this guy didn't pull off of it. He is making a living in that area.
Carlos Santana out to right center field. Laying out is Pompey. But the Toronto Blue Jays show a 3-run home run by one of their outfielders and a fine diving catch by another playing for the other team tonight.
This ball was squared up. Pompey gets a good break. Catch up speed. Catch probability on that one.
Yeah.
With my own eyes, I'm going to say 43%. But he has made some great catches already and covered a lot of territory, and it's looking like he's trying to get his wind back as he hit the ground and got him a little bit.
There's Nelson Cruz now with 2 away. I believe that I'm going to enjoy playing the catch probability game with you all season long.
Yeah.
We can both guess, and then we'll get the actual data at some point. You can't turn these things around immediately. But this is a new technology. We'll be talking about that all year. So you say 43% catch probability?
43%.
I'm going under. You set the line, and I go under.
Yeah. I was quick. I came out with it quick.
Sharply hit ground ball to shortstop to retire the side. Not before Joey Bats can do his thing. How about an opener in the World Baseball Classic for Jose Bautista? 3 for 4 with a dramatic 3-run home run to boot. He played 6 innings tonight in Miami. The defending champs off to an 8-2 lead. Well, the Canadian mountain got a little bit steeper after the Jose Bautista 3-run home run. Pete Orr leads things off in the Canada half of inning number 7. And one of the big bullpen weapons for Tony Pena makes his 2017 WBC debut. Rays property Alex Colomé.
Colomé basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball you already saw, and the slider right there. He throws his fastball about 56% of the time, and 40% of the time is going to be that slider. Fastball can touch 95 plus, straight over the top. Pretty nasty.
2 balls and a strike to Pete Orr. Well, he's got the luxury of working with the 6-run late lead. 8 runs on 14 hits for the Dominican Republic squad tonight. Rush that up there at 96 miles an hour, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to professional scout Pete Orr. We didn't really have a chance to expand on his story earlier tonight. We mentioned he was already scouting. So technically he is on a major league roster, I guess, just not as an active player. Chopper over the mound. Cano backhands and gets him. Oh, man.
I'm telling you, you have no idea at home how hard this play is. I know you just saw the guy that does it the best make it look the easiest. That is poetry in motion. Throwing across your body and a guy who gets down the line from left-hand batter's box. That's just unbelievable. And we see it routinely out of Robinson Cano.
One out, base is empty now for Jonathan Malo. Maybe Pete Orr's scouted arms like that, but on that occasion he was robbed by an arm and a glove like that. I know JP Morosi has a little bit more. Have you had a chance to visit with Pete during the WBC and the workout day yesterday, JP?
Well, Matt, I'll mention this. I spoke earlier today with Greg Hamilton, who's the Canadian bench coach and the director of the national teams. And I said, Greg, so Pete Orr has been a great competitor for Team Canada for so long. This has got to be his last tournament, right? And Greg said, well, John, you know, we do have some Olympic qualifiers coming up with of course, baseball coming back into the Olympic Games in 2020. So maybe he'll find a way to squeeze in some more time for Team Canada in the years ahead.
I love it. I think it's great. You bring up an important point there, JP, that the genesis of this event, the World Baseball Classic, was in large part born of the absence of baseball from the Olympic program. Wrapped to third, Machado makes the play, and there are 2 gone. Baseball's coming back in the next summer games, but after it was taken off the schedule along with women's softball, this event got a full head of steam and got going. So the question, JP, is now that baseball's reinstituted into the Olympic program, what does that mean for this event?
Well, Matt, the commissioner's been very candid and forthright in saying the WBC will continue. His counterpart at the MLBPA, Tony Clark, has said the same thing. So really, Matt, I think there's a lot of reasons to continue this tournament. You see great stories coming up in the last week, like Team Israel, which, of course, you'll never know. It might take a generation to figure out all the great things that come from what's happened over the last several days there for the growth of baseball in Israel. So I expect, Matt, we're going to continue to see the WBC. But again, 2020 in Tokyo sounds like probably a 6-team tournament there. So again, question still open. How many players will go? Which players will represent? But certainly baseball back in the games, at least for 2020. And then, of course, Matt, if those games are in LA in 2024, maybe then you see MLB players playing at Dodger Stadium. Olympic games there back in 2024.
Yeah, very interesting, as was the case in the 1980s when baseball was played as a trial sport in the Olympic Games, a non-medal sport in the Olympic Games. All to come. Here's Dalton Pompey with 2 gone and the bases empty. 8-2 Dominican Republic here as Team Canada is down to its final sets of licks late in the stages of a deficit tonight. We'll be back with you from Pool C tomorrow night. That's when Team USA makes its debut against Colombia. That one gets away from Castillo. Pompey didn't realize it until late, but is still able to get down to first base on the pass ball strikeout.
They've pitched Morneau awfully tough. As we look another replay, the ball just gets by up through the glove, and Pompey realizes it almost a fraction too late.
Justin Morneau now 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. We talked about Justin Morneau's willingness to play once again in 2016. Still an unsigned free agent technically. He was able to come back after the concussion syndrome that cost him the better part of 2+ years and win a batting title in Denver in 2014. Last year it was an abbreviated kind of injury-filled stay as a Chicago White Sox. But the folks inside the Team Canada clubhouse are all convinced that Justin could help somebody, as I'm sure he is.
More likely, just an American League club.
Safe bet. And 2 the count to Morneau. Well, the last time he played in the World Baseball Classic, as he was trying to come back from that concussion syndrome, he was terrific. He was Canada's best hitter. 7 for 11. Struck out 3 times tonight, however. Nothing comes of the pass ball strikeout. They're up and stretching at Marlins Park, and a largely partisan Dominican crowd enjoying an 8-2 lead. Pool C opening tonight, and the defending champs from the Dominican Republic with an 8-2 lead. As we settle in for the start of the last of the 7th, Matt Vasgersian back with John Smoltz and JP Morosi. Adrian Beltre leads things off against a new pitcher for Team Canada, right-hander Scott Matheson.
Good number with the Missouri Giants. A lot of guys on this roster have competed overseas. As we mentioned from the top, not a lot on Major League teams, but more and more are in the system in Major League Baseball.
A ball and 2 strikes. They count to Adrian Beltre. But Scott Matheson is really a survivor. Not only has he been around in the national team plans for a long time, this is his 3rd WBC, but he has overcome 2 very serious elbow procedures. One, Tommy John back in 2006, and then 2 years later needed a second elbow reconstructive surgery and missed another year. Kicked around in the the minor leagues rather for a while, and then eventually made his hay out in Japan. You saw those Yomiuri Giants numbers a moment ago.
Well, he's got a good arm. He throws over the top 95, 97 miles an hour with a changeup and a slider and a curveball. He has done much better in Japan than his brief stay in the major leagues.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Big Dylan Betances is up in the DR bullpen. And there's ball 4 to Beltran. Well, this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico. A crowd of over 27,000 at Marlins Park tonight. As we mentioned, we'll be on hand tomorrow with you from this same venue when Team USA debuts in Pool C. Now, the one everybody's waiting for, the big featured attraction on this one, comes on Saturday night when the team from the Dominican Republic takes on the U.S. Gregory Polanco sounds like he broke a back. Pete Orr can't flag it down. First and second to open the inning.
Big swing out of Polanco, jams shot, and this ball just gets outside the reach of Peter Orr. That is just, the hits keep coming. 15 already for the Dominican Republic.
There's Wellington Castillo now. He has homered tonight, 1 for 3. Canada's not alone in its desire to try to piece together from the middle innings on. There aren't many clubs in the World Baseball Classic as star-studded on the pitching end as what the Dominicans offer. Team USA has a strong staff for sure, but we saw it in South Korea, the bracket that began the WBC. A sharp hop to short. Malo knocks it down and has the presence of mind to at least get the one out at second base.
The Spanish is not very good, but that wasn't Malo, right? That wasn't bad. That was actually a good play.
Not Malo, yeah. Well, I think your Spanish is excellent.
He did make a great play. Got screened a little bit. Kept the ball somewhat to the side of his hip and then had the presence to get it to Pete or keep the double play in order.
Here's Jose Reyes, who has 3 hits on the night. Gobbled up by Orr. Oh, and the throw to try to double off. Castillo hits him. That'll bring in a run. Castillo is awarded third base on the error, and it's a 9-2 ball game.
That was just unfortunate right there. You know he was dead to rights at first. Line drive, and Pete just caught the helmet. Nothing Freeman could do. Right here, it's just a matter of missing that equipment.
So now Manny Machado has a chance to bat. runs on 15 hits. The first error committed by Team Canada. You've watched Manny Machado play now for a long time, as we all have, fans of his, fans of Major League Baseball. Is he always this deep in the box?
He's made slight adjustments, and the adjustments that he has made has translated into more power. I remember our Harold Reynolds saying early on that those doubles will start turning into homers as he gets more at bats and gets bigger, and that's exactly what's happened. Early on, he had a lot of doubles. Now he just looks like a threat for a 40 home run campaign. Plays in a great yard for it, but he has grown into that body and matured and made the necessary adjustments to become a complete hitter at the big league level.
Career highs last year with all across the board, really, 37 home runs. I mean, he is almost out of the back of the batter's box.
Open stance, closes it at impact.
Pokes that out to second base for Orr. On a close play, the side is retired. One more for Team DR in their half of the 7th. 6 outs left for Team Canada to try to come all the way back in this one. They trail 9-2. So it is a Davy and Goliath theme to start Pool C tonight in Miami. And Polanco has driven in the game's first run. And that one is gone. Another base hit to the right side, another run scored, and gone! Some of the cliff notes on a 9-2 lead for the defending champs. Top of the 8th inning, and a new pitcher, another one of their big bullpen weapons. The big Yankee Dellin Betances takes over in the 8th. An outfield realignment behind him as well, as Gregory Polanco moves from center to left. Give you the rest of that in a moment. A swing and a miss by Tyler O'Neill. Mel Rojas Jr. will take over in center field, son of longtime Expo Mel Rojas Sr., and that moves Jose Bautista back to a more comfortable right field.
Nope.
No swing on the appeal. 2 balls and a strike to Tyler O'Neill, who's hitless tonight. Betances' 2016 numbers. And after a bullpen that began with 3 tall trees, left him as the lone man standing by the end of the season.
Yeah, the one thing that's left for him to figure out, and it's fastball command. That takes him to the elite level. He's already hard to hit and dominating strikeout numbers, but his command of the fastball is something he still is trying to work on. If he ever gets that, the hitters have no chance. His mechanics that once was thought about being a starter has taken him to the bullpen. His unhittable slider is his most comfortable pitch. It's what he goes to every chance he can. You see the numbers there, 14 strikeouts per 9 innings. There's the fastball, 4-seam grip. He will throw an occasional curveball, but that slurve/slider is what, at 6'8", the hitter just doesn't have enough time. But that front side flies open on the fastball.
Freddie Freeman sends a drive out to shallow right for Bautista, and that's the first out of the inning.
What Betances did in last year's All-Star game was ridiculous. The adrenaline level, I think he threw a majority of his pitches over 100 miles an hour. And now he'll be rejoined by one of those guys, Chapman, which made the Yankees last year a threat from the 7th, 8th, and 9th with Miller, Betances, and Chapman.
Here's Eric Wood. You're a details guy. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if there's anything in the WBC rule book about wearing the same colored shoes.
I don't believe so.
Wood with a shot out to left. That ball well hit. But handled by Polanco right at the wall. I mean, they're the same color shoes. The dominant color is white, but different accent colors. I think he did that on purpose.
Not so sure that would fly in Major League Baseball, but
yeah. I think a couple of his teammates are doing that tonight as well. A statement, fashion statement, if you will. Rene Tassoni, the batter. Now that's, we got a whole different color there. Indeed. Why not?
you start doing that with golf shoes.
They'll kick you right out of Bushwood for that. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Tassoni fouls away a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
See there, he stayed in and the ball held its plane. And when you do that to a hitter and you establish that height of a fastball, I'd almost guarantee if the count was different, he still might throw a slider. But when you can have this kind of fastball at that velocity and now you follow it with a slider, the hitter has zero chance to recognize that spin. And it gives Betances something else, which most hitters would say he doesn't need anything else. It gives him a weapon that is not fair.
Fans have made a lot of 2-strike noise when the Dominican team is in the field. Quieted temporarily by a timeout granted to Tassoni. Swing and a miss. Another scoreless inning posted by the Dominican bullpen. To the bottom of the 8th, 9-2 DR. This World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And sponsored in part by Heineken. Open your world. And by Ace, the helpful place. Looking through the fisheye lens. Here's my rim shot.
What do you call a fish with no eye?
What?
You just don't say the eye.
It is 9-2 America. And there's a little ground ball back up the middle that's handled as Cano is the first casualty in the last of the 8th. The new pitcher is Rowan Wick. Cardinals property, 24-year-old right-hander playing in the World Baseball Classic for the first time. Split his time last year between Class A and Double A. And only recently having converted to pitching.
Goes straight over the top. You see the curveball right there.
Jose Bautista, a candidate, if not the runaway leader for player of the game tonight. A 3-run home run, pair of singles, 4 RBIs altogether tonight. Well, next up for the Dominican Republic team, a day off tomorrow. They do have a mandatory 8 a.m. workout, however, as John told you about earlier. And then Saturday night, a date with Team USA.
This place will be loud.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Bautista aboard again. That's been a big part of our story. Middle of the order success for Team Dominican Republic. Game summary. It started with Brian Dempster making his first game appearance since Game 1 of the 2013 World Series. He lasted 2 innings. Bautista has been among the Dominican hitting stars. In fact, all 9 of their starters in the lineup have at least a base hit. Carlos Santana with a fly ball out to shallow right that drops in front of Tassoni. Throw it to second, and they are able to force out Bautista.
Big swing, but the ball did not match the big swing. This big ballpark, got to respect the power, playing deep, but nonetheless got the out. Interesting for Tony Pena, as we asked him earlier about how is he going to get the rotation, how is he going to get everybody in. The fact that they have a day off tomorrow and then play, how do you decide the guys that didn't play who's hot? You go with the hot hand.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, this is how deep they are as a lineup. They're winning tonight with 9 runs on 15 hits. And Gene Segura and Jonathan Villar have been sitting on the bench all night. I mean, Gene Segura he's one of their best offensive weapons. Villar's the reigning stolen base champ in Major League Baseball after his breakout season in Milwaukee last year. And they're just window dressing tonight. Oh, and Starling Marte, lest least we not forget. One of the most dynamic players in the game. A ball and 2 strikes to Mel Rojas Jr. Look out. Some of these foul shots get into the stands with a lot of hair on it. I mean, the party atmosphere in these international competitions is different than that of a major league Saturday afternoon.
.6 miles an hour. So far been beating Rojas Jr. as he's been battling to fight some of those pitches off.
The next 1-2 pitch misses inside 2-2. Next up for the Canadian team is Colombia as a part of the day-night doubleheader on Saturday. They'll play at noon Eastern time. And that clearly would turn into a must-win game for Team Canada if they're going to have any hope of moving on to San Diego. Yes. Swing and a miss. Contreras will finish with the throw to first. And nothing further in the Dominican half of the 8th. To the top of the 9th inning, and what might amount to last licks for Canada. It's Rapid Rodney time. We go there 9-2 DR. Top of the 9th here in Miami, and coming up next on MLB Network, Pool D gets underway with one of the sneaky favorites in this tournament, the team from Mexico and the host country against Italy. In fact, that one is underway, and we'll have an update for you in just a bit. We'll send you out there as soon as we're done here in Miami tonight. Mexico and Italy in Pool D. He was one of the heroes of their 2013 World Baseball Classic Championship team, and he's back again this year. He is right-hander Fernando Rodney.
Fastball changeup combination. Tremendous difference between the two.
Pinch hitter for Canada, Jamie Romack, starts things in the ninth. Another change for DR defensively. The aforementioned Jonathan Villar takes over, spelling Robinson Cano for this top of the ninth. A ball and a strike to Romack. You saw his Japanese League numbers on the screen a moment ago. One of a number of Team Canada participants with Far East experience. He is Padres property moving forward, signed with San Diego in November. A little bit of time in the big leagues, coming perhaps not coincidentally in the NL West with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks.
Rodney from time to time, if this were a regular season game and a 9-2 game, might struggle a little bit, but not in these situations and not what he has done for his own country. And you see right there, games pitched right up there.
Swing and a miss. One gone for Rodney in the ninth. Speaking of Mexico and Italy in Jalisco, Heidi Watney standing by back at the MLB Network studios with an update. Heidi. Heidi, thanks. Gary Thorne and Jose Mota Jr. are underway in Jalisco. And again, we'll get you out there as soon as this one is complete. 0-2 the count to Pete Orr. Another pinch hitter waiting on deck for Ernie Witt. The guy we have looked forward to watching swing the bat, Josh Naylor. Young Padres property. We'll see Josh Naylor right now with two gone as Orr strikes out.
Well, the play we saw in right field that dropped in ended up being a force out. The catch probability of this, as you might predict, is going to be pretty high. 90% of the time this ball with the height would be caught. But on this occasion it was not, due to the depth and maybe even the read off the bat. So there you have it. 90% of the time that ball is an out.
Fernando Rodney's removed with 2 out in the ninth. Shoots off one of his trademark imaginary arrows to the delight of this partisan crowd. What should be the final pitching change of the night. We'll be right back. Josh Naylor, the pinch hitter, with 2 out, nobody on in a 9-2 ball game. As Jerry's Familia looks for the final out tonight, we remind you our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Certainly not a safe situation with a 7-run lead and 2 out in the top of the ninth inning, but Jerry's Familia makes the appearance for the final out anyway. And it's 1-1 to Naylor.
Familia, besides a tremendous body, a frame of which he throws 100 miles an hour and a split finger. It seems like every one of those fastballs looks like a split finger. Very difficult on hitters. And you know, you can tell a lot by shaking somebody's hand. was shaking this young man's hand. I can't believe how strong he is, and he's 19 years old.
You're talking about Naylor?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a big boy. Swing and a miss, a foul tip that's hung onto by Castillo. Familia hammers down the final out as Team Dominican Republic hammers out 9 runs, showing no signs of relinquishing their 2013 title. 9 runs on 15 hits and a convincing victory in the opening draw here in Pool C. Big-time bullpen depth, star-studded lineup, and we saw what can happen when this team gets together tonight.
Yeah, they didn't look nervous, did they?
No, they did not at all. Nor did Canada for their part, but boy, the firepower that Tony Peña's club brings is going to be really hard to contend with for anybody. Time to award our Alfa Romeo Player of the Game honors. We kind of hinted at this earlier. It's Jose Bautista. What a night he had. 4 RBIs. That was an RBI single early for him. The biggest of his 3 hits, this monster shot. 3-run home run that really effectively put it out of reach. Jose Bautista, our Alfa Romeo Player of the Game.
Yeah, we've seen that swing so many times, produce so many home runs. And I'd say, like you said, he's got a lot to prove this year.
You bet. Back to Toronto for on a 1-year deal with some option language, and off to a great start in this World Baseball Classic for sure. Fan base was energetic tonight as we expected. Over 27,000 for the first matchup here in Pool C. Dominican Republic with a win. Next up for them is Team USA on Saturday night. Colombia and Canada play the early draw on Saturday, part of a day-night doubleheader. We'll have both games televised on MLB Network. And I guess for Team Canada, John, they have to be looking, it's win or go home for them. They have to beat Colombia in order to have any chance to move on.
Yeah, both teams will have a day off. The pressure goes to the United States tomorrow night, but I think for Canada, all eyes are on Colombia and their strategy to try to figure out a way to advance past the first round, something they haven't done yet, and I'm sure they're still determined to do it.
And next up for Team Dominican Republic again, the date with Team USA, Saturday night, 6:30 Eastern. John J.P. and I will be here for that one as well. Been a fun one tonight as Pool C gets underway, much to the delight of this crowd. A convincing win for the Dominican Republic. 9-2 for the defending champs. So we're getting ready to send you out to Jalisco, Mexico, where Gary Thorne and Jose Muda Jr. are standing by for Italy and Mexico coming up next right here on MLB Network. More WBC action. Gary and Jose, take it away.